Hey, Vinny, it's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's talk. Michael Whatley. He was on the show yesterday. He kept all the news from us. I was even asking about North Carolina. Didn't know he was going to run for Senate. That's interesting. What do you think about that, Congressman?
Well, it is interesting. You know, a lot of news just broke here in the last 12 to 24 hours, I guess, here in North Carolina in the Senate race that's in front of us. It seems that it's very clear now that Roy Cooper, our former governor, is going to be making his announcement by Monday that he's going to seek the Democratic nomination. And now Laura Trump has made the decision she's not. Everybody was kind of waiting to see what she wanted to do or was going to do. And she has decided she's going to remain on her program. And I guess Michael Whatley received the president's tap, and he is now going to jump in. So we're going to have an incredible race that's going to cost millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars here in North Carolina. And we've got to make sure that we hold this seat, though. That's absolutely incredibly important for this next Congress.
Is North Carolina a Republican state?
You know, North Carolina overall, I believe, is a Republican state. I mean, you look at the fact that all across the state is pretty much a picture of where you've got the urban and rural divide. You've got several pockets in the state that are deep blue. But when you really look at the state as a whole, it's overall red. And I think that we have a great opportunity to hold this seat. We just got to be consistently conservative. I think that's the bottom line that sells in North Carolina, is when you're consistently conservative and you're standing for truth and you're standing for righteousness, you're going to win elections. And people can see that. And I think this is going to be an important time for us.
You know, our last guest and your fellow Judiciary Chairman member, along with Jim Jordan, who is also on the program, have all been sort of popping off on this Republican amnesty bill that Salazar has brought up this past week. And there's a lot going on here, Congressman. I just can't think of something worse to try and feed the Republican base right now than an amnesty bill for tens of millions of criminal aliens. But, you know, I'm not the member of Congress. So your take on this?
Well, I can't really see it going anywhere when I look at where we are as a Congress right now. I mean, bottom line, and I think Chip Roy said it well in the previous segment, and Jim Jordan, of course, is chairman of our judiciary. You know, we're focused right now on getting this border situation, as we should be, solidified, and making sure that we finish the border wall. We put 10,000 additional ICE agents now through the One Big Beautiful Bill that passed. We're getting custom border patrol in place. We've got 10,000, up to 100,000 beds, I should say, in place for deportations. We've got to keep that focus going. And that's where we are. That's where this president is. I know people are hearing various things about labor issues and agriculture and some of those kind of things. But the reality is we've got programs in place. We can use those programs like H-2A and others. We can build off those programs. We certainly don't need to be getting into something like an amnesty bill that's going to open the door. We've got to take care of business. We ran on the issue of securing the border, taking care of business, getting the illegal criminals out of our country, and we've got to keep getting that job done before we do anything else.
Yeah, I don't like the distractions, and we've been seeing so many distractions pop up here, and it's been remarkable, actually, to see the way that this Obamagate scandal has been covered. It's clearly something that the news media led with for 2 straight years, the Russia collusion hoax. It was the top of everyone's news cycle. It was the tip of the tongue for every reporter. And now nobody wants to talk about it, Congressman. It's very strange now that there's direct evidence that it was all fraudulent and potentially treasonous and potentially a seditious conspiracy. You've posted about this, and you said that, yeah, we should totally lock up Barack Obama. What's your take on this? Like, how do you think this is going to progress forward, Congressman?
Listen, I've been telling folks from the beginning of this story, follow the evidence. How many times do we hear it? Nobody's above the law. We've got to follow the evidence. And Tulsi Gabbard has done all of us a great favor by releasing and putting out this information, getting it over to the Justice Department. You know, we keep hearing more and more, and I anticipate we're going to hear even more as we go into the fall about these things that happened, the specific dates where the intelligence community had really come to the conclusion there really wasn't anything that had gone on with Russia, and their meeting where they had come to that conclusion. And then there was that fateful December 9th meeting in the White House with the president and all of his people that pretty much changed the course and decided, no, we're going to make something of this. And then you go into January when the meeting happens with Clapper and Brennan and Comey sitting down with President Trump, and they began to talk about the entire dossier that they knew was false. I mean, the fact that there is evidence, I'm understanding that these documents that have been sent over to the Justice Department point to the facts of the things we're talking about here. And if indeed the evidence leads all the way to Obama, then by all means, we need to go to follow that evidence, and it needs to be exposed. And I think we're in a great position to do it. And I think it's time the American people are waiting to hear.
There's something that I've been waiting, actually, for somebody to come on this program with your background. And I'm really glad that you were booked today, because it's a question that I'm meaning to ask somebody who comes from a theological background.
Sure.
And you went to Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, and you were a lead pastor at Trinity Baptist Church. Sounds like a wonderful church, but you've spent a considerable time of your life in the study of divinity. And I'd like to ask you a spiritual question, if I may, on this next topic.
Sure.
Something I can't get out of my head. There's this clip of Kevin Spacey, and I know that Bill Clinton has just been subpoenaed and Hillary Clinton has just been subpoenaed. And there's a clip of Kevin Spacey, and he's talking about flying on Epstein's plane. And he's talking about how these little girls came out, and how he was really putting in jeopardy, Bill Clinton. But we know Bill Clinton was a frequent, if there was a frequent flyer program on the Lolita Express, boy, he'd be at the top tier. And I can't square this circle. Maybe you can help me. What is it inside of a person's soul that would allow them to engage in this kind of activity with young children? Because they're just admitting it here, right? And we've all seen the art of the Podestas. We've all seen sort of the sickness of this world. And to a normal American, to the regular, just sort of God-believing, Bible-reading American, it's so despicable and it's so dark and disgusting, we wouldn't be able to tolerate it. Our souls wouldn't let us. But there's something inside of our elites that say, no, this is something that I should engage in, and that this is okay, it's permissible, I shouldn't even report it. What is that exactly, sir?
Well, the sad part is that it is a reality of humanity that we all have a sinful nature. The Bible's clear that we are born, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We all know that we have a sinful nature. There is a unique sickness, no doubt, that is impeding someone who enters into this kind of dark and this kind of evil without question. Of course, you and I, we recognize that. I think the average individual that reads of people that would take advantage of these young girls is indeed a sickness. But again, we go back to the fact that all of us have that sickness. The power of the cross, the gospel of Jesus Christ, from my perspective, is the only thing that can change that heart and change that mind, because it's darkness. But I do think that there is a certain desperation and a certain deepness to the evil that does the kind of things that people do. And it's a sickness. I mean, we watched it all play out even during the sentencing out there in Idaho of this evil individual that could just sit there and yet took the lives of these innocent people. And there's a lot of darkness around us, and we've got to be very aware of the darkness and the evil that pervades. But we all have to be very attuned to the fact that, but for the grace of God go I. And because, again, all carry with us the sin nature, it's just, it's very, very damaging when you see individuals that move beyond that into a realm of darkness and a realm of evil that is so destructive.
Yeah, like spirit cooking dinners and paintings of little abused children hanging on your wall. I mean, we've seen it all. It's satanic. Are there Satanists who live in Washington, D.C.? Are there Satanists who run our country?
Well, I am not familiar with any particular individuals that I've come in contact with, but yes, I mean, there are individuals who worship Satan all over the country, all over the world. There are individuals that have moved into that realm of darkness and evil down to that point. So yes, I mean, those folks do exist, no question.
Yeah, it does feel like when you're talking an issue like Epstein, you're talking about, taking all the evidence on surface level isn't doing it justice. You have to actually get down into the spiritual level to quite possibly understand, like, who could even allow for the abuse of these children? Like, what kind of a person lets that happen in their presence, right? Like, what would you do if you got on a plane and there were little kids that were on the plane? I mean, it'd be so repulsive. You wouldn't you wouldn't fly to Africa, that's for sure, right? Have a great time, not talk about it.
Exactly right. And I mean, you've got to have the sensitivity to understand the surroundings where you are at any time. And that from a theological perspective, that's the power of the Holy Spirit that helps you to know. And as believers, the Holy Spirit bears witness of one believer to another. And we recognize that as well. So, you have a heightened sensitivity to the evil that is around you when you're in the midst of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Congressman, whenever you go to the Hollywood Hills, we unfortunately have to go to LA here and there. I always get this, like, it's like a sunken place, man. It just feels that San Francisco, like downtown DC, you can feel the darkness. You can feel it, man. There's like, these places have a spiritual energy.
No question, no question. But I will say this. I mean, I've been there, as you said in my introduction, I'm brand new. I've been in Washington now about 6 months, was sworn in on January 3rd. There are some incredible believers and followers of Christ that are part of that understand, that do have that spiritual awareness of where they are and what they're doing. And I'm very grateful for them. And again, you quickly learn them and you draw close to them. And just like some of the folks that I've seen here on your show already today are people that I love and respect and continue to learn from and look forward to in the future.
Very quickly here to end, if you approach this from a theological perspective, what should happen with Epstein and with this case? What should happen here? What do you believe?
I think that we've got to continue to get to the truth. We've got to continue to get to the information and the evidence. The fact that, listen, I've said all along, this Maxwell, at the end of the day, she has all the information. I mean, she was the right-hand individual. Getting her to come out and share, I mean, if the American people really want to know, she's going to be the one that can identify individuals that were taking advantage of these people. And so hearing from her, I think, is going to be an important step. The fact that Todd Blanche is going to meet with her, I think, is a great indication that this Justice Department is wanting to get to the bottom of this in many ways. And so I think that's going to be important. At the end of I get asked about that from immigration every now and then. How do you deal with this issue of taking care of strangers and those kind of things? And I understand the question, but listen, the Bible is clear that we are to be a nation of law and order. We're a nation of laws, and people have got to follow the law. And that includes coming into this country. We're all for legal immigration. We're all opposed and determined to stop illegal immigration. And folks have got to be held accountable to that very tune. So as a believer, what should happen on that issue? We've got to maintain our laws and maintain order. And I think that that's exactly what this administration is wanting to do. And that's why I'm wanting to help move the needle in Congress to make sure that we continue on that path.
Well, we're thankful for that. And Congressman, we hope you Godspeed in your journey. I know you're just getting started here. So welcome, I guess, to the Thunderdome. And we look forward to following up on how that journey goes. We'll see. Congressman Mark Harris here. You can follow him right on X. Here's his account. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure we're fighting with the people who are fighting for us. Light against the darkness, salt in this earth. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Benny. It's a pleasure.